We have waited and watched for the first big storm in more than a month, and it's finally arriving. The wait is over. The raindrops are starting to fall, just as Dave Bender said they would.
We're tracking Titan HD with Green moving closer and getting ready to cover the region, and there's no end in sight.
And as the rain races toward our region, people have been filling sandbags and cleaning storm drains, and crews are keeping an eye on the levees in Natomas.
We have team coverage as we keep an eye on this major storm.
Good evening, I'm Sam Shane.
And I'm Christina Anderson. CBS 13's Lamore Abrams and Mojgan Shurkat are live.
We start with Dave Bender in the Weather Center tonight. Dave?
All right, guys, we are getting ready. Sprinkles already starting right now, and moisture's off to the north and to the west. So we thought we'd talk about the rain facts as we get prepared for what we should experience as we go from tonight all the way into Monday. So in the valley, maybe 1.5 inches to 3 inches of rain. North part of the valley could see more than that. In the foothills, this is sort of conservatively 4 to 6 inches of rain. I have seen some forecast models like Auburn up into Nevada City in excess of 7 inches of precipitation. And you get up into the Sierra, 6 to 8 inches with isolated spots up there that could be as maybe as much as 10 inches of rain. All that will be coming down through the watersheds. That's good for going into the lakes, but we need to watch for the burn scars. We need to watch for potential flash flooding issues like in the Napa area, Russian River area, and maybe some flooding issues around the perimeter of the valley. North in the valley, north of Marysville and Yuba City along the Sacramento River, and also urban and small stream flooding potential. Now let's talk about the wind. It's going to be gusty all the way through the series of storms coming in, but you can see right there, we've got some wind gusts that could be around 40 to 50 miles per hour. Peak winds will be happening tomorrow during the afternoon commute. All right, now we'll make a bit of a move and we'll mosey on over to this side. And this is going to show you the moisture that's working on into the area. It's just off to the north and west. And as this gets in here, it's going to come in and slowly work across the area tonight, but it is going to generate a lot of rain, so people are going to need to be ready. So many communities are already in full storm mode. On neighborhood watches out there, getting ready to defend themselves against a neighbor's pond. In fact, one neighborhood is doing that. That pond floods every year with every storm. CBS 13's Lamore Abrams is live by the Tower Bridge with how they are gearing up. Lamore?
Well, Dave, they're expecting the river to rise by about 13 feet over the next few days. And at least in one part of town, as you were mentioning, there is one neighborhood that's expecting their streets to turn into rivers.
These are all the sandbags that we used during the last storm.
Sandbags are stacked up around Katie Hardo's home in anticipation for this.
It ends up being a river down the road.
During December's storm, they had water seeping through the garage and in through the front door.
It's because of that pond.
She's pointing to this pond down the street, the one that overflows every time.
It balloons over and it just, I mean, it's a river.
The pond has been in the neighbor's backyard since the 70s, about the time Jerry Manzer moved in.
So all the water comes across here into my property, floods it all out.
All he can do is pass out sandbags from his truck bed.
If we have 3 to 5 inches over 2 days, then this pond will flood, and then here we go again.
In Natomas, there's a full flood plan in effect.
These are 6 400 horsepower pumps here.
The Reclamation District is watching pumping stations along the levee ready to kick on and stay on for days.
Once they're on, we'll have our crews out here just kind of monitoring, making sure that that everything's working.
The pumps suck the water up and dump it back out at the other end into the river, a process this neighborhood is doing manually.
What are you hoping for this upcoming storm?
That we get breaks in between and that it doesn't destroy our houses.
So what then is the solution for that neighborhood? Well, neighbors there say their next step is to possibly propose their own flood plan to the county. For now, they're relying on those sandbags, of course.
All right, thank you so much, Lamore, out there right along the Sacramento River. Hop back into the computer here, and we want to show you that, yeah, this is going to be a couple of waves of wet weather, one for tomorrow on into Saturday. We may catch a break and then have some thunderstorms in between, and then another round as we go through Sunday on into Monday. And then Monday, we could have a few thunderstorms. So with thunderstorms, you could get heavy downpours. In fact, we're going to go out to more Mojgan Shurkat, who's live in East Sacramento, and you're going to explain why it's a little different with this storm compared to what we saw about a month and a half ago.
Yeah, that's right, Dave. We're in East Sac, where during the December storm, we saw some street flooding in the neighborhood. Here's a look at that video. As that storm passed through the rising water, there was rising water near McKinley Park. Look at those cars driving through that standing water in East Sacramento. This is back in December, like I said. And even though we are expecting a similar system this time around, there's a chance we won't see that type of flooding. That's because last time the leaves were blocking the storm drains and the gutters. So as the rain came down, the leaves backed up the system and we saw some flooding. Well, this time around, all the leaves are down and gone. And so hopefully we won't be seeing that type of neighborhood flooding in our area with this storm system. Here's what folks at the California Department of Water Resources had to say about the storm we're expecting this weekend.
Basically, we're not expecting a great deal of flooding within the Sacramento system, especially. There will be some. This is going to be a fairly quick event with some somewhat rapid rises on the streams that we're looking at, but they're also expected to pass fairly quickly too.
So we're finally getting some much needed rain after a very dry start to the year. But again, Dave, we're not expecting that type of flooding in the neighborhoods.
Very good. Thank you so much, Moksha Shurkat out there talking about the lack of leaves, which really could help us out. Now we'll take a look here at the moisture that potentially could come across the area, and we're going to start to see it overnight. Here we are as we get on into your morning drive. We're starting to get a little rain. It's going to be getting breezy, if not windy, at that time. Then you get toward the afternoon, it's going to be downright gusty with wind gusts 40 to 50 miles per hour during your afternoon commute. And of course, we're going to have maybe an inch of rain already here, so we could have some ponding on roadways, some urban and small stream flooding situations. We'll have to watch that. And then as we go on through the weekend, by the time we get into Sunday, and we still have may have some more for Monday, 3.5 inches of rain around Sacramento. But look at Auburn, 7 inches of rain. So as that all comes down through the watersheds, by the middle of next week, it'll be interesting to see just how much extra water is in Folsom, and not only Folsom, but Orville as well as Shasta. And right now, we're going to be tracking this wet weather as we go through the show. And of course, as it develops overnight, be sure to watch CBS 13 this morning with Ron, Audrey, and of course, Laura starting at 5 a.m. Back over to